Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Carey, and I'm the community manager, and I do security research at Rapid7. And a couple months ago, I started playing around, actually trying to write stuff. And this was before I joined Rapid7. I've been in Rapid7 like 6 months or something now. Before I started with Rapid7, I started trying to be able to test network infrastructure devices. And then I got to Rapid7 as a community manager. And I kept on trying to do some of the stuff I was doing before. And since we do Metasploit at Rapid7, I started adding stuff to Metasploit. Real quick background, I was a former U.S. Navy. I've been all over the world. I was a CT in the Navy. And learned a lot of cool stuff there. Thanks, all those CTs out there. All those ex-Navy guys out there. So I'm going to introduce my teammates. These guys also work for Rapid7. Real quick, I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quick.
My name's David Rude. I'm the exploit developer for Metasploit. Basically, I'm in charge of pretty much every single module that goes into Metasploit. I have to do code review of everything. And my past experience, I've been working in exploit dev probably for 5 or 6 years at least. Prior to Metasploit, I worked for iDefense doing a lot of zero-day validation and stuff like that. So.
I'm Will. I'm a pen tester at Rapid7. Been there about 3 years. Do all sorts of pen testing, anything from network pen tests, web app pen tests. I did talk on DDoSing, so we've done a little bit of that. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, real quick. So what I'm going to do today, everything hopefully will be in the trunk within the next 24 hours. Dave. So what I'm going to do real quick is going to go a quick little outline. I know everybody in here may not know what Metasploit is. There's a lot of people that do. So be patient with me if I'm going to start off a little bit slow here. But in the end, we're going to have live demos. We're going to walk through some code on how we did this. And we're going to talk about from a pen tester's perspective. Here's the actual outline. And we're going to just hopefully we'll have fun. Hopefully you'll learn something. And after the talk, I'll be over there in the speaker lounge for anybody that wants to beat me up or anything like that, or ask questions. Real quick, Metasploit framework. The Metasploit project was founded in 2003 by H.D. Moore, who is the CSO of Rapid7 now. And so basically, we kind of, it kind of reminds me of the kind of like the SourceFire story, how SourceFire started up with an open source tool, and then Metasploit got picked up by Rapid7. I'm stuttering like a mug up here. But basically, the Metasploit framework is still open source, BSD license, and a lot of other commercial people use it. We use it in commercial use, and we have Metasploit Express and Metasploit Pro. But everything here I'm going to talk about is going to be available in a Metasploit framework. And it's my intent, and I'm kind of like a giving community guy. A lot of people know me. So my whole purpose of doing this is trying to help organizations out. I come from a military background, government background, so I've always wanted to help people secure their systems and such. All right, a little bit about the Metasploit framework architecture. And this slide right here, I'm not going to read the slides to you, but basically there's a lot of things in Metasploit framework, and these slides will be available afterwards, of course. The thing we want to concentrate on here is modules, and we use a combination of these modules to actually and actually most of this stuff has been used a long time just primarily for network exploitation. And I came to the Metasploit team from a defensive background, so my whole thing was like, I want to actually help people defend networks and actually test their network infrastructure instead of just trying to exploit in-host. And so here, all these modules play some part in vSploit and Metasploit over as a whole. In particular, we're talking about auxiliary modules, and in the end, when Dave comes up, he's going to talk about how anybody can contribute to do vSploit modules. And as far as Metasploit development goes, if you want to actually start doing stuff that helps the community out, this is a really, really low threshold to actually start doing Metasploit development. So the whole point of this, I've deployed enterprise IDSs, I've built networks at large government places, I've did all kind of defensive stuff. And sometimes you want to actually test to see if stuff's working, but you don't want to use live exploits. And a lot of people are concerned about running exploits on their network. A lot of people are adverse to that, and I definitely understand. So the vSploit thing is like doing paintball. So hopefully it doesn't knock anything over. And I can't say anything's 100% flawless. But in an ideal situation, we've had discussions even this morning where we're talking about there could be a possibility to start sending stuff, and IPS may shut a connection down if you have it in active mode. You know, if you send it stuff that looks like exploitation or attack responses. So basically, what I'm trying to do is it's really a new spin on auxiliary modules. Again, I'm not really trying to exploit anything. I'm kind of I'm a nice guy. Some people say I look like Mr. T or Kimball Slice or something, but I'm a very nice guy. I'm scared of the mountains. It sucked. I actually drove here from Maryland. It was a 4-day drive. That was crazy. Man, I hate the mountains. I'm telling you. Okay, again, the purpose of the whole vSploit thing is to actually evaluate devices on their own merit. Now, what I'm saying is on their own merit. I don't want to evade anything. I want to try to be able to test devices exactly as they say. I want to see if things do what they do. I mean, there's a funny commercial where Dennis Green is saying, it's a funny American beer commercial. I want to see if the device is what it says it is, pretty much. And so I don't want to do any kind of traffic evasion. The main thing is I want to ensure proper network device placement, because there's a lot of different networks where people don't even understand their own infrastructure, so it's absolutely impossible for them to place a device like an IDS or IPS or DLP because they just don't know the layout of their own network. And it's really, really true. And even if a consultant came in, and a consultant comes in, they want to actually deploy IDSs on someone's network, half the time the people that they're supposed to help them, they don't know where to place the devices on their network anyway. So this is an attempt for people, in-house security people, to be able to test out stuff, send these things to trigger alerts, and if it's not triggering alerts, you know that you have your devices placed in the wrong place. So it's also an opportunity to train security staff. And I'm going to talk about this now. One of the things that I actually wrote that didn't make it here, and Dave said because I suck at writing code, it didn't make it into the trunk yet. But I actually wrote a scheduling function into Metasploit, and it'll be in there pretty soon, where you can actually schedule exploitation to happen. So you can say, I want an exploit to happen at 2 o'clock on a Saturday night. And it could be an exploit, or it could be a vSploit module. So that'll be in Metasploit pretty quick. Didn't make it for this talk, but the thing is, like if you have a managed security provider, MSSP or whatever they call it, or just your regular NOC or SNOC or whatever you want to call it, you want to know if they're actually watching things at 3 or 4 in the morning. So the ability to actually schedule exploitation and to actually schedule exploits is going to be in Metasploit very, very soon. If I could code better, it would be in there today for this demo. But I actually had it working, but HD said my code sucked. Okay, so all right, so really, the real important thing here is, like, you know, in the whole AV world, you have the eCar file where you can actually drop it and it alerts. Well, there's not a really good test case for network-based traffic. And so one of the big things is, the last bullet is good test cases are hard to emulate. I've tested out big enterprise IDS systems. I've tested out DLP solutions at major government customers, and even sometimes the vendors don't have a really easy way for people to test out stuff. With DLP, sometimes they have files that look like DLP for the host side, but it's kind of hard to generate traffic in any kind of way to actually point it towards something and send stuff that should trip those alerts. So some of the things I'm talking about testing here is IDSs, IPSs, DLP stuff, firewalls, and basically net flow collection, all these different things. And it's just to be able to test, educate, and be able to respond to things. So what I'm calling interesting traffic, I used to do a lot of network engineering, and we had this term, it's probably a Cisco term, interesting traffic. So basically what you want to do from a client, and this is one of the things that you can do from a web browser or many other things. So you have Metasploit framework on one side, you have a web browser on one side, and you can actually do requests, and then Metasploit framework is going to send you data that looks like PII or whatever other kind of traffic. Also, another big thing that I tried to do, and this was like dead simple. So some of the things I'm talking about is not going to be rocket science, but it works really well, right? Basically, being able to do DNS queries over different times, and actually when the scheduling piece works, we're going to be able to emulate malware at scheduled times on your network. So real quick, IDS and IPSs are mostly signature-based, and most organizations run signature-based IDSs. Looks for known traffic, so if it looks for known traffic, we just have to know what it's looking for, and we can actually emulate that traffic in a controlled way without actually popping boxes. We can emulate SQL injections, we can emulate attack responses, and other kind of suspicious behavior. And IDSs should be able to catch all that stuff. So DLP, in my opinion, even some IDSs have DLP type functionality where you can put in social security, regular expressions, and all kind of other things. Most of them are concerned with PII. Since all these data breaches are occurring lately, it's a big market for DLP solutions now. And I tell you, it's good to know if you make $1 million investment, if that actual investment is actually paying off. And many times people can't actually validate if their stuff works. So the ideal situation is this. If you're going to try to go out and procure stuff, you would want to use something like vSploit to actually test to see if those things work, as they say they work. If they say they catch credit cards, test it with credit cards. Socials, whatever you're trying to do, medical information. And a real important piece is to be able to customly craft traffic, and Dave's going to be talking about it, be able to actually write your own vSploit modules to meet your environment. If you're a government person, if you're a bank, there's all kind of different ways to actually, a need to actually have the ability